Hello, I'm John Paul and welcome to Bulbourne Farm, which is a happy egg organic farm. It's currently got 14,000 birds spread over about 120 acres in either 2,000 bird or 1,000 bird units. We have been farming poultry here for the last 12 years and it was registered with the Soil Association about 10 years ago and we've been producing for them ever since. Okay, so the units we have here are fairly standard poultry units, but what we have done is try to integrate a few more different preferences that birds can use. So above the slats are perches, and they're at different levels and easily accessible, so the birds can get onto the perches. They can move around those perches fairly easily, and also what we try to do is make it so that they're not jumping from a top level down. Within the nest boxes we have flat top nest boxes which are wooden topped, so again that adds a separate dimension and allows the birds to move around the nest boxes and across the shed quite easily, both underneath the nest boxes because they're raised. If you come out of the main house into the litter areas obviously we use long straw which the birds love, and we try and get that really deep so it acts like a raft. This is just another obstacle for the birds to jump over. We then have another buffer zone which is sort of wood chip area as they come out of the pop holes. Again, that protects us and cleans the chickens' feet and tries to keeps the litter area a little bit drier and more friable, which again gives the birds a different opportunity to dust bane. So yeah, that's it's quite a lot of varied alternatives for the birds to go and use, and whatever preference they have they can get onto those different areas, which gives them a lot to do within the unit. The positive experiences between the birds and the people who look after them is massively important. One, for the person that's looking after them, because they need to have an understanding of the bird and understand if something is wrong, and that is something that takes years of experience with stock keeping, and probably everybody knows that. But also what we try and do is when we've got a new lot of birds is to get them acclimatised to us as quickly as possible. So we spend as much time as we can with them, and that's just doing the normal things like we'll walk around them as many times as we can. Sometimes it might be every half an hour in the first week or 2 weeks, just to get them used to that. We knock on the door, we let them know we're coming. Anything we do at that point which might be a trigger for stress or actually scare the birds, if we're going to lower the curtain on the outside, just give them a warning, let them know you're coming. And I think that's vitally important, because people, when the birds feel happy with you in that environment, then it becomes a positive. When you go in there, the birds will follow you around the range. We have lots of school trips come to the farm, and the birds absolutely love that. That's one of our biggest things, to draw birds out of the unit. Put 25 school kids outside, and you've got your whole flock out on the range, which is perfect for us. The perches allow different areas for birds to do different things. So you have perches when they want to rest, perches where they can go and not get interrupted when they want to have a sleep or a rest. Easy access to the scratch area, have enough scratch area so all the birds can scratch at the same time if they want to. Lots of nest box space so that birds are not in competition for anything, and also encouragement to go outside is key, because obviously during the day when birds are doing lots of different things, if the majority of your birds are outside scratching around, the birds that want to nest have more space to nest, the ones that want to feed have more space to feed, and the birds that want to drink have more space to drink, so it's fairly straightforward. We tend to use string. String's great, the birds are really interested in that, they peck it. We can attach CDs to that. Anything that again stimulates the bird and creates interest. Use dusting pits, which we mix with diatomaceous earth, which helps us with the red mite as well, and birds seem to love that. We also have those that are mobile, so we can also move them. So again, it's changing the interest and getting the birds to look at something that's slightly different. And we find they're now we've got new plugs and extension, so we can keep them house lights on during the day. Whereas before in the winter months we had to have them go off, and if it was a dark day, it's quite low light levels in the shed. So the first thing we do is plant lots of trees. So we tend to, bare minimum 5%, as many as you possibly can out on a range, and then anything else that will attract the birds out and give them protection. Birds love to be protected from above. They're quite nervous of any sort of wild birds or anything, aeroplanes flying over. So again, they want to be within a safe distance of something they can get back to. So again, it's important that you plant trees, but that they need to be spread around the whole range. Hedges are brilliant. Any of the trees, like if you do, like I said before, if the trees come down, any of those falling branches, get them out on the range, make a big pile, you know, something that the birds will use, and you can keep moving those around, so again you can move the point of interest. The outside is massively important. We underestimate how much the birds benefit from being out there, so the more we can get them out there and use it, the better. Okay, so the day-to-day welfare of the birds is massively important. It comes back to what we discussed before about stockmanship and having people that can recognise if something's wrong, because that's the key thing, is recognition. One, that if a flock looks poorly or individual birds look poorly, that they're recognised and dealt with accordingly. The other thing really is attention to detail. So we talk about getting birds out on range, but the more you encourage birds out on range, the more mess they're going to make, so you need to think about, do I need to rotate my paddocks, do I need to reseed? And all I can say is it does come down to stockmanship. It's being aware of your birds, how they're reacting with you, is there something wrong, and really reacting quickly to things that are not wrong. So if the range is muddy and birds are drinking out of muddy puddles, we need to fill those puddles up. If the feeders are dirty, we need to clean them. It's basic stockmanship skills. And they're the things that make a massive difference to the birds and mean that you can maintain a healthy flock. Well, I think the Good Life framework's great. We get audited 4 or 5 times a year by different bodies, and they tend to be things that are very sort of black and white. So you have enough of this, you have enough of that. Have you done this? Have you done that? And the good thing about the Good Life framework is that it's looking at positives. So it's looking at all the extra things we do that potentially can make a difference to our birds. And I suppose it's that recognition for that. And yeah, it's nice for someone to come and look on the farm and sort of identify the positives. I think, within the Happy Egg Company, we do the same thing. The key thing is to try and drive welfare, and the brand is welfare orientated. And the Good Life welfare is very similar. What we tend to do is, we have a group of producers come together and share ideas. And I think, the information that's gleaned on these welfare outcomes could be used as a database. So, go to somebody's farm, if they want to improve, I have an issue with this, what can I do to make it better? I think, having that information that's tried and tested would be great. So I think that would be a really good thing for it.